Alright, Shalom. So, just want to give all praises, glory, and honor due unto Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakah HaKodash, and double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well and that do teach one that have taught me this truth. To you I say Shalom. And Shalom to the hopeful elect, Kwam Yashala and Abad Babal. So, we're going to examine Revelation chapter 17, verse 11. A bunch of precepts here set up to go right along with this precept. So, let's start it. It says, and the beast that was and is not, even he is the eighth, and is of the seven, and goeth into perdition. Beautiful. So, and the beast that was and is not, even he is the eighth. That's talking about America. America is the eighth head that came out of the seven heads. And if you read up in the chapter, or if you go into the previous chapters, like Revelation, the 13th chapter, it goes into the seven heads. The seven, I believe the seven are, I don't know if I can remember it off the top of my head, but, really the seven head, they represent seven governments or seven kingdoms that are ruled by Esau. And I believe it is the Greeks, Germania Minor, Germania Major, the Romans, French, Spanish, and I believe the British. Yeah, so that's the seven. And America came out of those, and goeth into perdition, and that simply means America is getting ready to be destroyed, and that's what it was created for. It was created to be destroyed by thermonuclear destruction. So yeah, that's what it's going into. Now we can get Daniel chapter 7, because it goes into it. Daniel chapter 7 verse 8, and I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, and the horns that this speaks of right here is going into the seven kingdoms that I spoke of, that I just mentioned. And behold, there came up among them another little horn. So that little horn represents America. That's that little horn. But from whom there were three of the first horns plucked up by the roots. So before this little horn, you had three other horns. And that's going into the French, British, and the Spanish. And pretty much these were the three first nations to colonize America, or the Americas. But due to the process of time, America took them over. And don't get me wrong, man, their influence is still felt to this very day. Going into the French, Spanish, and the British, it's still felt to this very day. It's ingrained in our culture that we live, when we live, right, where we live here, wherever you live, whatever country you live in the Americas, especially in Latin America. Spanish is predominantly spoken over there. Also in the province of Quebec, French is spoken, and that's our second language over here, French. And also Canada has British roots. So pretty much all these countries and nations that are over here in the Western world, or the Americas, they're dominated by those three countries. That influence is heavy upon them. But due to the process of time, like I just said, Americanization has taken over, and America is ruling, and you can see it. All these nations, they want to be like America. They're dominant. So now let's move on. It says, and behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of man, and a mouth speaking great things. Yeah. So that eyes, those eyes of man, are pretty much going into the carnal earthly wisdom. That carnal earthly wisdom that America has. And through that carnal wisdom, they have gotten really, really, really proud. Really proud. Now, I got some precepts on wisdom and eyes. So I got Ezekiel chapter 28, verse 3. And I believe this is going into Tyrus and Tyre. And that kingdom was a coastal kingdom. They owned all the ports. They lived off the sea, and they controlled that territory. And when you control the ports, you pretty much have a lot of power. because they had so much power and so much knowledge, and all these nations flocked onto them, and they got so rich, they got very, very proud. And the same thing is going on with America, and this represents America pretty much. America is very proud because they have a lot of power, and they've gotten things done with their wisdom and knowledge. So it says here, Ezekiel chapter 28 verse 3, behold, thou art wiser than Daniel, there is no secret that they can hide from thee. And that's right. If you go into Daniel was a wise man, and he was also a prophet, and he was the one that broke all of Nebuchadnezzar's visions and dreams down. He was very wise, and the spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai was dealing with him. And actually, Daniel was a scientist. When you go into the scriptures, he was an actual scientist. He did a lot of experiments, so he was very wise, very knowledgeable in things, very wise. So they are actually wiser than Daniel. So hey man, these devils, they know everything, and that's because they tap into the left-hand side first and foremost. They have a lot of witches and warlocks and magicians working around the clock to keep them in power, and really to give them the upper hand. So they're tapping into the spiritual demon Satan, these demons. So it says, there is no secret that they can hide from thee. That's right. Going into their scientists, which their scientists are a bunch of witches and warlocks too. They're a bunch of alchemists. Yeah, so it says there is no secret that they can hide from thee. So they know everything, and that's this devil. He knows everything, starting with the elite banking families and these luminaries or luminous that are out here, right? So let's get a quick one. This is Proverbs chapter 3 verse 7. Be not wise in thine own eyes, fear Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, and depart from thee. And that's it. They're wise in their own eyes. That's these devils, and that's going to lead to your downfall, your own detriment. When you're wise in your own eyes, and that's going into that earthly carnalism that they have. You know, part of that is not having faith and trusting in your weapons of mass destruction, because that's what these devils do. They trust in their weapons. They trust in their military might. They don't trust in God. They don't, the God, which is, the God, which is Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. It's even on their money. In God we trust. But which God are they talking about? Which God are they really talking about? Right, it's spiritual demon Satan. That's why there's a pyramid on it, an all-seeing eye and a pyramid. Okay, and there's Latin writing on it. What does that have to do with America? First of all, so it shows you what they're all about. You can even look at their money, just about witchcraft and masonry, man. So anyways, be not wise in thine own eyes, fear Yahweh, and depart from evil. Yeah, because when you fear the Lord, what does the scripture say about that? The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. That's when you get true wisdom. And the wisdom that they have is not true wisdom, because when you go into the book of Sirach, it says the knowledge of wickedness is not wisdom. And that's what they're doing, wickedness. They're just tapping into the knowledge of wickedness. And that's why it says, be not wise in thine own eyes. Because if you're wise in your own eyes, you're just being really wicked. All right? And being wicked isn't gonna really sustain you for a long time. It really isn't. So let's move on. Next one. This is Proverbs chapter 12 verse 15. The way of the fool is right in his own eyes, but he that hearketh unto counsel is wise. A fool's wrath is presently known, but a prudent man covereth shame. Okay? Yeah, so the way of a fool, and we know that you Edomites, you're fools. Going into Job the 30th chapter, is you're fools by nature. Just look at the way you act, right? You guys are into bestiality. You guys are into homosexuality. You push that. You poison the air that you breathe. You destroy your own crops. You genetically modify the food. You push all these wicked philosophies out here to destroy the people. Right? So yeah, in his own mind, in his own ways, he's set in his own ways. In his own mind, he thinks he's going to prosper by being wicked. But he that hearketh unto counsel is wise, and you're not hearkening onto counsel. You can go into Job, the 21st chapter. It talks about that. Actually, let me pull that up. This guy doesn't want to hearken onto counsel. He doesn't want to counsel with Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. He thinks serving Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai and listening to him is not going to profit him. This is Job 21, verse, I believe it's 14. Oh, I don't know why that didn't register. Job 21, I think it's 14. It's around there. Yeah, so this is it. It says Job 21:14. Therefore they say unto the Most High, depart from us, for we desire not the knowledge of thy ways. What is the Almighty that we should serve him? And what profit should we have if we pray unto him? Lo, their good is not in their hand. The counsel of the wicked is far from me. How oft is the candle of the wicked put out? How oft cometh their destruction upon them? The Most High distribute the sorrows in his anger. Wow. Yeah, but the main point is in verse 14 and verse 15, right? They depart. They depart from the Most High, or they want the Lord to depart from them. They don't want to have anything to do with the Lord, and they don't desire true knowledge and wisdom. And that comes from the scriptures, the law, statutes, and commandments. What is the Almighty that we should serve him? So who is this God? Who is this God, and why should we serve him? And what profit should we have if we pray unto him? And that's what they say. There is no God. We don't gotta believe in him. We gotta just serve Satan, and we're gonna do well by serving Satan. That's these devils, man. That's these devils. All right. So going back to Ezekiel chapter 28, verse 3. I'm gonna read this one more time. Then I'm gonna go into Isaiah 14. Ezekiel 28, verse 3, behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. There is no secret that they can hide from thee. With thy wisdom and with thine understanding thou hast gotten thee riches, and hast gotten gold and silver into thy treasures. By thy great wisdom and by thy traffic hast thou increased thy riches, and thine heart is lifted up because of thy riches. That's right, you have gotten proud over the years, that you have been increased through your wicked understanding, your carnal understanding, right? Through you tapping into the left-hand side. And that's why America is known as the Golden City. And it is when you go into Revelation, the 18th chapter. Mystery Babylon, the whore that sitteth upon many waters. This place is full of luxury, man. It's full of precious stones, resources, man, souls of men, slaves, you name it. It has everything. And think about it, man. America, they consume about 70 to 80% of the world's resources. Right? It's all about luxury and opulence. This is the place to be at. Everybody wants to come here and prosper. This is the place to be at. That you only live one spirit. You can be anything you want. You can achieve anything, whether it's good or bad. This is the place to do it. And because they have gained that status throughout the years, they have gotten very proud. And through their pride, they have actually destroyed the earth and oppressed the people and disrespected Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. Alright, so anyways, let's move on. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 14, verse 12. This ties into Ezekiel 28. And it also goes into Daniel chapter 7, verse 8, which also ties into Revelation 17. Alright, so this is Isaiah chapter 14, verse 12. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nation? This is going into the king of Babylon, which starts with the elite banking families and these lesser luminaries that are under them. Okay, so so how art thou fallen from heaven? So that means they're going to be taken out of rulership. They're going to fall hard on their face. And Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, he's going to take them down. He's going to take them down, and they're going to go into slavery. And this system that they have set up is going to be taken down by Yahushai. Oh, Lucifer. So Lucifer, what does that mean? He's a light bearer. He's a light bearer, which means he's illuminated. He has knowledge on the left-hand side. So Lucifer, light bearer, shining one, morning star, Lucifer, of the king of Babylon, and Satan, figuratively, right? So, hey, these elites, these lesser luminaries, the elite banking families, they all tap into the spiritual demon Satan. Hallel, describing the king of Babylon. In the sense of brightness, morning star, Lucifer, right? To shine of God's favor, to flash forth light. Going into the root word, to praise, boastful, be boastful. Funny thing, that's what goes in. That's what they're going into. A mouth speaking great things, boastful, due to their pride, man, and them tapping into the left-handed energy. All right, so yeah, let's go back. It said, "How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nation?" And they have weakened the nations, man. They have weakened the nations. With their military, with trade, and with the English language too. Yeah, with the English language. Think about it, man. Why do you think business has to be done? On a global level, right? Going into globalization, trade and commerce, whatever, etc., whatever you want to call it. How is business done? What language is it done in? It's done in the English language, and you have to dress up in a suit and tie. You have to. And if you want to do your traditional customs, right, or because some of these other nations do, right? They don't put on a suit, but they got to speak English, and if they don't speak English, they got to bring an interpreter with them, right? So hey, that should tell you something. They weaken the other nations with their English language, and that also goes into word magic, right? There's a lot of word magic that is done within the English language, man. This language that we speak, English, is really, really, really demonic. You can have one word that has three meanings. That's wicked as hell. And that's why the scriptures talks about the Lord will give us a pure language. I believe that's in Zephaniah, because we're supposed to talk purely, right? Our nay is supposed to be nay, and our yea is supposed to be yea. The scriptures talks about that. Actually, let me get that. That our communication, and you can't communicate properly in this language. You really can't, right? So this is Matthew chapter 5 verse 37. But let your communication be yea, yea, nay, nay, for whatsoever is more than these cometh of evil. That's right, not maybe, not no gray areas, right? Because that's how English is. Are you gonna do it? Maybe. That's if you ask someone this question, hey, are you gonna take out the trash? And that person answers you, maybe, I might take it out. That's English. So what are they telling you? They're telling you that, yeah, I may do it, but I won't. I can do it, but I don't want to do it. They're telling you I could possibly do it. When really, just give me a straight answer, motherfucker. That's the English language. It's very, very misleading, right? And that's how these other nations were weakened. It's really through the contracts they have made with America, right? These contracts. Actually, I got something to share as well, going into the English language. Now, this is from the book called Word Magic, the Powers and Occult Definitions of Words. And it's written by Pao Chang. I think it's Pao Chang, I believe. So, Word Magic, the Powers and Occult Definitions of Words. So words are very powerful, and words are used to cast spells on you, man. They're used to cast spells. You got to be careful. You got to be careful on how you say things. You really got to listen closely to what people say to you, man. Especially when people start bringing out big words and they start getting articulate. You got to listen to them. You got to listen to them, man. So anyways, I'm going to go on and read. Sorry, there's no page number, so I can't give you a page number. For some reason, in this PDF program, it takes away the numbers for some reason. So anyway, It's highlighted in the green. It says, in the English language, many words are carefully designed and put together in a way that gives them the power to cast spells. The dark magicians are well aware of this, which is why they like to use the English language to trick us to play their con game, to enslave mankind. And that's right. They come up with all these different contracts, and then they title them in a way that to trick you, to make you think that you're actually gonna get ahead, or you're actually going to do well. But anyways, it says, is this hard for you to believe? Read further and I'll show you the evidence. English is the language that the dark forces want to use to control the world. This is one of the hidden reasons that most countries are now requiring English as a second language. Even some of the governments of the poor countries are urging their people to learn English. The good news is that if we can prevent the minions of the dark forces from establishing their one world government, making English as the language of mankind will make it easier for us to communicate to other cultures. In the occult world, certain words are used along with rituals and sacred geometries to direct and control energy to create certain desired effects. This process of using words, rituals, and sacred geometries to control, that's why I believe these Freemasons, they have the square and the compass. That also goes into sacred geometries as well. And they also have certain words that they use among each other. That's all magic, man. That's all magic. Beware that I am not talking about magic tricks you see on television or magic shows. However, many magic tricks do utilize the real magic. Most people will laugh at the idea of magic being real, but if only they knew what magic really is and how magic is used to control them, they would not be laughing. The world is dominated by magic, which is why governments, banks, courts, and religious institutions are some of the biggest practitioners of magic spells. Until you train your eyes to see how magic is used to control you, you'll never know how the world really works. Yeah, so that's just a reference, right? So the English language is very demonic, and it's used to cast spells over the people, right? And now, if you think about it, man, if you go into a court of law, a lot of these judges and lawyers, listen to them very carefully, especially when they're like judging a case, or they're involved in a case between a plaintiff and a defendant, right? You notice they always use the word what is legal or legal. They never really go into the word lawful. They never really say that when they're passing judgment down on someone. They said, they do say, did you break the law? But they also say what you did, was it legal or illegal, right? So legal and lawful are two different words, and they have two different meanings. Legal and lawful are not the same thing, right? So when they say that did you do something illegal, or are you legal, it just simply means, legal just simply means, in a nutshell, it gives the appearance of something being lawful when it really isn't. So one example of that could be, right, it is unlawful for you to intentionally kill somebody on purpose, right? Right? It's not lawful for you to do that. It's unlawful. But in this devil system, he can actually make that legal by the way he would say things. Or if you get a good lawyer, he'll say things like self-defense. If you can prove self-defense, even if you were wrong, he can make that legal when it really isn't. You see that all the time. You see people get away with murder all the time, right? So what is lawful? Lawful just simply applies to natural law and the laws of God, which the laws of God that comes out of the Bible. That's lawful. And in this devil system, he will make things legal to make it look like it is lawful, but it really isn't. So legal and lawful are two different things, right? So it's legal for you to sleep with another man's wife in this system, but in the eyes of the Lord, that's not lawful. So you have to understand what legal and lawful is. And that's how, this devil, he creeps upon these nations. He makes things appear to be lawful and good. And the scripture says, woe unto them that call evil good and good evil. And that's what he does. And that's how he's doing it with these philosophies like democracy, religion. Because all of those things, it ties into law, right? It ties into law. So anyways, verse 13, for thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of the Most High. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. Yeah. I'm going to be above the Most High, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. And he has said in his heart that he is God. Right? He is God. I don't need God. Going back into Job, the 21st chapter, that also relates to Psalms 50 and 16. Let me get that. Psalms 50 and 16. Right? But unto the wicked the Most High says, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth, seeing thou hatest instruction and castest my words behind thee? And that's these devils, man. They don't really care about following the instructions of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. They throw the Lord's words out the window. And then they try to, then when they do that, they try to make things look lawful and benevolent. That's what they do. That's what they do, man. But I just thought of this scripture, or this precept. That's these devil. They just throw out the Lord's laws and they bring in their own laws. And then they say that's the lawful way of doing things when it really isn't. Or they'll say that it's legal. They'll come up with these legal terms. That's these damn devils, man. But anyways, let's move on. Let's go into, and it says back in Daniel 7 and 8, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of man. So we covered that. That's going into their carnal wisdom, and a mouth speaking great things. You can also get Revelation, the 13th chapter. This is Revelation chapter 13 and 11, and it says, the beast from the earth, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. All right, so what is this talking about? That's talking about America, man. That's that beast, and it came up out of the earth. And he had two horns like a lamb. What does that mean? What are those two horns? It's going into his politics, right? His political system that he has set up over here, which is Republicans and Democrats. And that goes back to ancient Rome, plebeians and the patricians, right? That's what it's going into. And he spake as a dragon. Yeah, he spake as a dragon because that's going into his democracy. His democracy, man. His voting system. And it's very cruel, man. It's very cruel. And they use their system to trick you and to keep you in bondage. And through that system, they spread a lot of lies. They spread a lot of propaganda. They bring forth homosexuality. They bring forth idolatry, covetousness, and murder. What did Bush tell you? We're going to invade Iraq because they have weapons of mass destruction. We have weapons of mass destruction. That's what he told you. And then put all these posters out there. He put all this imagery out there, making Saddam look like a bad guy, making him look like a terrorist, right? And making the people over there in the Middle East look like terrorists. You know, that's how he spake as a dragon, man. He's fucking cruel, man. This guy's cruel. And very draconian as well. Very cruel. Very cruel. So yeah, and that ties into blasphemy and lying, because that's what democracy is all about. It's just all about lying and stealing. And he exercised all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And that's going into that first beast. I believe that was Rome. All right, because they're Rome reincarnated, Rome coming back again, and they're gonna bring forth a system, very dangerous Roman system, and they're bringing it back again. So, anyways, that was it. I was going into Revelation chapter 17 and 11. So I hope this was edifying. Until next time, just want to give all praises, glory, and honor due unto Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai Bahashem Rakah Kwathash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone of GMS. To you I say shalom, and shalom to the hopeful elect.